It happens in an instant. Surveillance video capturing victims getting run over by their own cars. It seems like an impossible scenario until it happens to someone you love.
I can't imagine how I'm going to continue every day sometimes without her, because she really was that guiding force.
This is Mom.
The pain of losing their mom is still very raw for sisters Tiffany Cohen and Shanna Anderson. It was a hot summer day last August when their parents were planning a trip to a water park. But the couple's outing turned tragic, leaving this family grappling with pain and desperate for answers.
It still makes absolutely no sense.
According to police reports and the family's attorney, the couple's car rolled over Deborah when her husband got out of the driver's seat to help her open the trunk.
There was an exit from the vehicle while the vehicle was running, while the car was not in park.
The vehicle rolled back, crushing her underneath.
What happened? And how does this happen? Someone said something about a rollback, and what does that mean?
The sisters started searching for answers. What they found was worse than a punch to their gut. The realization that their mother's death wasn't the first.
We thought freak accident, and it ends up it's not so rare.
Driver error is a symptom. It is not a cause of rollaway.
Sean Kane, a vehicle safety expert, has been sounding the alarm about rollaways since the introduction of keyless vehicles and electronic gear shifters, which he says can be confusing to drivers.
You have that metal key in your hand, you know two things about the state of that vehicle. You know that the transmission must be in park, and you know that the engine must be off. If you have a key fob and a keyless ignition car and you have that fob in your hand, neither one of those things may be true.
If the car isn't in park and the driver exits the vehicle, some cars will sound an alarm or signal. But Kane says manufacturers should go a step further, installing technology that automatically puts the car into park.
It's something that's been around for a long time. It's not new.
Watch what happens in a car that does have the shift to park feature.
Remove your seatbelt, take your foot off the brake, and open your door.
Oh!
How's that?
Oh! That's what it's supposed to do.
That's what it's supposed to do.
But here's what happens when a car does not automatically shift to park in that same scenario. It rolls away. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration says it tracks rollaway incidents and estimates that there are roughly 142 deaths and 2,000 injuries each year. It's an estimate because they rely on police department data. But safety experts believe that number is just a fraction of rollaway cases, since most of them occur on private driveways or in parking lots. They're considered non-traffic events, which are not as widely reported by police. We know that because we asked some of the area's largest. Most don't track rollaways. Only Arlington police told us it had 4 since 2019. Our investigation found these incidents happening across the country, from Miami to California. And not all rollaways result in death.
I was afraid that I was going to get ripped to shreds.
Dr. Ken Rothfield, a former anesthesiologist at the University of Maryland Medical Center, recalls the day his car nearly crushed him to death.
I was knocked into a seated position with my arm above the door, trapped between the brick wall and the car.
Rothfield now knows what happened to cause his car to roll away.
So apparently, when I got out of the car, I didn't shift it all the way up into park.
As a result, Rothfield suffered severe injuries, including broken ribs, a dislocated elbow, and a laceration requiring 30 stitches and 2 surgeries.
The real aha moment for me was that I realized that this was completely preventable.
That's why Rothfield, along with the Moses daughters, are fighting to get car manufacturers to make it so all vehicles automatically shift to park if a driver exits a vehicle while it's still in gear.
People do it all the time, and then they catch themselves, but some people may not.
Senator Richard Blumenthal is one of the sponsors of the Park It Act, which would require all car manufacturers to install technology to prevent rollaways. He says if NHTSA won't mandate it and if manufacturers won't all do it, then Congress should.
The agency has simply failed to act, and the automotive industry has failed in its responsibility to protect its own consumers.
News 4 reached out to NHTSA for an interview, but they declined, telling us in a written statement it does not comment on pending legislation, but did say the agency is evaluating the safety technology made available in some vehicles, and it continues an ongoing review of keyless ignition systems, including automatic shutoffs and vehicle rollaway.
It was a while ago, yeah.
But for Deborah Moses' daughters, there's no time to wait.
You know, we say to ourselves, what would mom want us to do? You know, how can we make mom proud?
That's why they're speaking out for her.
She would love that she's taking care of everybody right now, knowing that her voice can be heard through this and that she will ensure that everybody has the basic safety features that should have been in place for her.
While we know some cars do have this technology, we've learned one manufacturer has been tracking these incidents through software installed in some models. More on that coming up at 6 when our investigation into rollaway risks continues.
She took the room, she took the space.
Her smile was infectious.
She's the one who brings everybody together.
Her love of family strong.
I miss her laugh so much. I miss her smile. I still think that I'm in shock sometimes that she's not even here.
The loss immeasurable for daughters Shanna Anderson and Tiffany Cohen.
I'm on the phone with the police officer and he's telling me she's gone.
In late August, their parents were packing the car for a day at a water park when suddenly the car started rolling backwards in the driveway of their Pennsylvania home. According to a police report and the family's attorney, the couple's 2020 Toyota Avalon hybrid rolled over Deborah Moses when her husband got out of the driver's seat to help her open the trunk. Deborah was crushed to death.
One thing that's so unique about this case is we have a data entry that tells us exactly what happened.
Attorney Richard Lamaro says it was the Moses car that told them exactly what happened, recorded in the vehicle's control history, something similar to a black box.
There was an exit from the vehicle while the vehicle was running, while the car was not in park.
The data shows on August 22nd at 1:54 p.m., the driver exited the vehicle when shift position wasn't P, meaning in park.
So they cared enough to collect that data, yet they put nothing in place to protect the person who was exiting the vehicle while the car was not in park and running.
We reached out to Toyota, who declined our request for an on-camera interview, but in a statement said, "We sympathize with anyone involved in an accident in one of our vehicles. And when it comes to that vehicle control history," added, "certain Toyota vehicles do have the ability to record the data event that you referred to, which may, in certain circumstances, help provide a more complete understanding of vehicle performance." The company would not tell us how long it had been collecting the data. Our investigation found it's been years, going back to at least the 2016 Prius.
Why collect that information? Are you seeing how many people are going to die from this feature not being in the car?
The feature Tiffany's referring to is an automatic park. In this 2019 news release, Toyota announced starting from model year 2020, Toyota will begin to phase in automatic park, which is designed to help reduce the risk of rollaway. It puts the vehicle into park if the driver forgets and gets out of the car. But Lamaro says the Moses 2020 Avalon didn't have it.
You recognized it as a problem, you made a commitment to change it, and you didn't.
Toyota told us new features are phased in depending on many technology and production factors, which vary from model to model. We are continuing to phase in these features across our model line. But the Moses family questions why this life-saving technology is not in all models already.
I would tell them they have a responsibility to protect their consumers and to do whatever needs to be done to make cars the safest they possibly can.
To prevent another family from facing their same tragedy.
We won't have an opportunity to be there for her and for her to be there for our kids. And that's probably the saddest part of this.
A number of car manufacturers do have this safety technology in place that will put a car into park if a driver exits the vehicle while it's still in gear. There's also legislation making its way through Congress that would make it standard in all vehicles. The Moses daughters say they will do whatever it takes to make sure it passes so their mother's death wasn't in vain. Drivers caught off guard when getting out of their car. It suddenly starts rolling away, sometimes with deadly results.
My heart breaks for every family that will ever get that call.
News 4 obtained surveillance videos of it happening around the country.
This didn't have to happen. She didn't have to die.
We're freezing the video because the images are too graphic to show. While rollaway incidents kill roughly 150 people each year, nearly 2,000 people are injured, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm so lucky to be alive.
Dr. Ken Rothfield is recovering from severe injuries after his car pinned him against a brick wall in his driveway when he tried to get out.
I really did beat myself up for a few days for being so stupid to put my car in neutral instead of park, but I learned that this is actually a very common problem.
So common that some car manufacturers have installed rollaway prevention technology if a driver leaves the vehicle without putting it in park. Watch how it works.
Remove your seatbelt, take your foot off the brake, and open your door.
Oh!
How's that?
Oh! That's what it's supposed to do.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Well, I am a little angry. I bought this car because I thought it was super safe, and I knew it would protect me in a crash or when I was changing lanes.
But Rothfield's car didn't come with rollaway prevention technology.
That's not on every car. It should be.
Will Wallace is the manager of safety policy at Consumer Reports, a publication known for its annual car ratings. In 2017, they started lowering scores for cars that weren't equipped with rollaway prevention, or if they had gear shifters that auto safety experts believe can be confusing for drivers and a contributing factor of these incidents.
These non-traditional gear shifters, sometimes they're dials, they are shifters on the steering wheel, sometimes they're buttons. And these are not what people are usually accustomed to.
If your car has a non-traditional gear shift, safety experts say get in the habit of always using your parking brake. And if you're buying a car, here are 4 things to know to keep your family safe. Do your homework before heading out. Make sure the car has all the safety features you're looking for. Ask the dealer specifically about rollaway protection.
Unfortunately, every car maker calls it something different.
If you don't get a straight answer, look in the owner's manual.
Look up the transmission section and the parking brake section. See if it describes something about stopping the car automatically if it's unintentionally in gear.
Make sure the salesperson explains how the gear shift works if it's not what you're used to prevent a rollaway accident.
It's very hard for consumers to know whether this is on the vehicle. Sometimes dealers won't even know. And that's why at the end of the day, we want this to be required on every single car so that people don't even have to think about it.
Now, Consumer Reports, along with other safety organizations, are hoping that recently introduced legislation called the Park It Act will get passed. This would require that all cars have some type of technology to prevent rollaways. I'm Susan Hogan, News 4.